Welcome to the Mars VR demo. Please stand in the circle in front of you. You'll get a quick refresher, meet Perseverance, learn about the Rubion sample from Sol 164, and then travel to Skinner Ridge to examine a later sample from Sol 490. This is a short VR controls refresher. Please follow along this looping demonstration video as we quickly detail some basic VR controls. You can teleport by holding forward on the right controller's analog stick. Rotate left or right by tapping the right controller analog stick in that direction. Turn around by tapping backwards on the right controller analog stick. Use the left controller primary button to open and close the location menu. We will use that later. Use the right controller primary button to open and close the Ingenuity menu. Also something for later. You can grab certain objects with the trigger under your middle fingers on both controllers. Finally, you can interact with UI via the trigger underneath your index or pointer finger on both controllers. Feel free to rewatch the video to clarify any controls and take some time to practice them now. When you are ready, come stand with me on the next glowing circle. Now, let's watch a short video that details the Mars 2020 mission in better detail, to better understand the mission goals and objectives.
Mars is the closest place that we can reach with robotic exploration that we think had a really good chance of having ancient life.
The Perseverance rover will land at a location called Jezero Crater. Jezero Crater is a very interesting place. It's a crater that once held a lake.
There are a lot of craters on the surface of Mars that could have once hosted ancient lakes, but not every crater that we think had a lake actually preserves evidence that that lake was there.
It had an inflow channel and it had an outflow channel. That means it was filled, the crater was filled with water.
In Jezero, we have probably one of the most beautifully preserved delta deposits on Mars in that crater.
This is a wonderful place to live for microorganisms, and it is also a wonderful place for those microorganisms to be preserved so that we can find them now so many billions of years later.
There is no other place on Mars that has the unique combination of a lake setting, a beautifully preserved delta, and the diverse mineralogy that we have in Jezero Crater. So it's truly a special landing site.
When you are ready to move on, come stand on the next glowing circle to investigate sample 1. Rubion is Perseverance's sample 1, an atmospheric sample sealed on Sol 164. Let's learn more about the Rubion sample.
Sample 1 is called Rubion. It's an atmospheric sample that we picked up from a place called Polygon Valley in the crater floor. Rubion is our one and only atmospheric sample. So in this case, the rock itself was old and altered, and it kind of crumbled as we were picking up the sample. And so when things don't go according to plan, we improvise, and we try to still get good science out of it. So in this case, now we have a capture of just the air that was around there, and that's also a valuable sample that we didn't have before. Learning about the atmosphere is important because that tells us what the elements and chemicals are that are in the air on Mars, which is really different than Earth, and it's different than Mars was in the past. And so we can do the same sorts of analyses that you could do on rocks to understand what makes up the air. What makes these two planets so similar but so different? The rocks are one part of the story, the air around the rocks is another part of the story. We decided to drop Rubion in our backup sample depot at Three Forks. There are not many ways to capture air from another planet, and we've got that.
Now, let's learn more about the star of the Mars 2020 mission, Perseverance. Perseverance is currently stationed at the sample depot at Three Forks in Jezero Crater. When you are ready to proceed, grab Select Perseverance using the middle index finger button on either controller.
The goal of the Perseverance mission is to investigate astrobiology on Mars, and in particular, to address the question of whether life ever existed on Mars. The Perseverance rover starts with a design that's very similar to Curiosity, but we've added to it a whole new set of science instruments. And these science instruments were purposefully selected to help us in the search for biosignatures.
We're going to be taking microphones with us. For the first time, we're going to have that human sense on another planet.
Perseverance carries with her a grand experiment in spacefaring technology, a helicopter, the name of which is now Ingenuity.
One of the major upgrades that Perseverance has from Curiosity is that it's able to self-drive for a distance of up to 200 meters per day. As the rover is driving, it's literally building the map of the road it's driving on Mars.
Scientists for years have told us that to really unlock the secrets of Mars, we have to bring samples from Mars back to Earth.
So what Mars 2020 is going to do is to drill samples, put them in small tubes. We're going to seal it in its own individual tube. We set them on the surface to provide a target for the second two missions, which hopefully will get in development in the next several years and could potentially get the samples back to Earth by 2031.
Perseverance is a very, very profound first step in both our understanding of our place in the universe and a stepping stone towards human exploration on Mars.
Finally, let's introduce the legendary Ingenuity helicopter and allow you to test fly her if you wish. Ingenuity is a small, autonomous helicopter created by JPL and was the first machine to achieve powered, controlled flight on Mars. Please observe and refer to the following video instructions to control Ingenuity. Open Ingenuity's flight controls by pressing the primary button on the right controller. To take off, activate the Takeoff UI button by pointing your controller at it and using the triggers underneath your pointer finger. Then, select somewhere to go in the left Windows satellite view. Your vision is represented by the green triangle. When you are done, land Ingenuity safely by using the land button. Please re-watch the video carefully for any clarification on the controls. This concludes our brief tutorial. If you would like to explore more, feel free to investigate some of the other samples at the depot. If you wish to continue, come and join me at the next glowing circle when you are ready. I am glad you chose to stick around and explore a little more. To head to Skinner Ridge, we will make use of the location menu we briefly introduced earlier. Bring up the location menu by pressing the primary button on your left controller. Select the location, Sol 490 Skinner Ridge, from the drop-down menu using the trigger button under your pointer finger. When selected, use the Go to Lock button to quickly teleport to this location. You can then activate Perseverance when you are there to start the procedure. Hello again. Let's take a walk with Perseverance to check out the Skinner Ridge outcrop further up this hill. Skinner Ridge and also Wildcat Ridge are where some of the most interesting samples were collected so far. Before abrading and drilling a core sample, Percy will need to conduct a SuperCam laser scan. Let's go check it out. SuperCam is a sophisticated remote sensing instrument aboard the Perseverance rover, which is designed to analyze Mars' surface from a distance. By firing a high-intensity infrared laser, it scorches surfaces by up to 10,000 degrees Celsius. The resulting plasma emits light that can be evaluated to determine the chemical composition of a possible sample. Pretty cool, huh? Let's keep going. The next step is to perform a small abrasion using the rotary percussive drill on the end of Perseverance's arm. This allows us to reveal the underlying surface underneath any dust and weathered layers and ensure a clean and stable area for further processing. It then allows us to take pictures of the abrasion patch using various equipment. The abrasion is performed using a rotary percussive drill mounted on the end of the robotic arm you see extending. This piece will grind away about 5 centimeters diameter of the rock surface and clear away any dust and debris. It will then photograph and scan the abrasion using Watson, Sherlock, and eventually Pixel. Perseverance will now take a full core sample from the outcrop. The core sample drilling takes quite some time, and sometimes multiple core samples are taken, usually in pairs. Mars can be such a beautiful place. I cannot wait for people to come here and see it for themselves. We will explore the results of the scans from these instruments today too. Just in time, looks like our abrasion patch has finished up. Feel free to investigate the chemical composition of this sample by utilizing the chemical mapping tool you see in front of you. Otherwise, thank you very much for checking out the Mars VR demo. That's everything for now.